Travel alert, using the path, you travel southeast, taking 10 minutes to arrive, reaching this most southwestern building within Oohlatz, you find the construction old and dilapidated, like most of the other buildings within the village. Yet this one is unique, originally painted in a variety of bright, contrasting colors and now decorated with all manner of wild plants and flowers, to the point where it seems strangely appealing. Stepping inside, you are quickly met by a suave, well-mannered, middle-aged man who directs you to all the various potions he has available for purchase. The merchant watches your every move and you can't help but feel a little intimidated here. Still, go ahead and buy or sell all the potions you wish. You are foreigners to Chegoria, the man continues after your initial transaction, surprising you. I am Nanuit, and I can see you don't belong here. Uh-oh, this primitive alchemist seems to know your true identity somehow. After several anxious moments, the witch doctor continues. I don't care that you are here. But the ultimates, they are always watching for threats to their dominion and they will soon find you, if they haven't already. That sounds ominous. How do you respond to Nanuit? Choose an option. Curiosity, how do you know about us? Optimism, we can hide from the ultimates. Tolerance, is there something you want? How would I not know is the better question, the witch doctor returns, a bit aggressive yet still respectful. All of you carry a sense of power about you, something lacking from nearly all who dwell in this miserable hamlet. You are in grave danger here. We're aware of the danger, Kartha answers on your behalf. But I sense you know something we don't. Nanuit stares at Kartha for a long moment before continuing. You're not the first outsiders to come here with the intention of attacking the ultimates, and they know that, Nanuit continues, his expression most serious. Not only do they have spies everywhere, but they even have the magical power to simply know when they are under threat. They will come for you very soon if you don't flee at once. The witch doctor seems quite convincing, but let's do a wisdom check on your hero to see if you can tell whether he's lying or not. Needing a 14 or less from Janet, a 9 was rolled. Success, your natural instincts kicking in, you're fairly sure that Nanuit is being completely honest with you, the ultimates apparently have the ability to detect you magically and you're in grave danger. I can brew a concoction that will help you evade the magical scrying of the ultimates, the witch doctor continues. Its effects will be temporary, but it may buy you time to do what you've come here for. And why would you help us? Eswin asks suspiciously. What's in this for you? The ultimates have ruled Chegoria for decades, Nanuit begins, his voice reduced to a whisper. The Nemfruit has corrupted them beyond the ability to discern reality from fantasy, and now they rule from a position of both absolute authority and near infantile madness. They can't be reasoned with, they can only be destroyed. That's quite the paradox, Redfern responds. How can the ultimates run an entire country without the ability to reason or face reality? By keeping the people so drugged that they can't discern reality from fantasy either, Nanuit replies. Nemfruit is everywhere, so prevalent that virtually everyone prefers to dwell in their own hazy shadow of reality than deal with reality head-on. Our government literally feeds the people an endless supply of lies and deceit. Until the Nemfruit is no more, we can never hope to escape. Things sound pretty hopeless here in Chegoria. How do you wish to respond? Choose an option. Empathy, we had no idea it was so bad here. Honor, we will do all we can to help. Reason, the people must undo their addiction. We were under the impression that the ultimates were merely tyrants that ruled their people with an iron fist, Kartha replies, sensing that you feel the same way. We had no idea the people see nothing wrong with their way of life, drugged to believe that everything is right and proper. You seem different, Eswin logically points out, spinning the conversation in a new direction. How is that you see things so differently? Why not just consume the Nemfruit like everyone else? Again, I know of a way to shield the mind from the prying eyes of the ultimates, Nanuit replies, still distressed and even paranoid. But I represent a tiny minority who can still see clearly, and my antidote won't last forever. If you're here to deal with the ultimates, I would prefer that it happens sooner than later. Fair enough, Kartha responds with a nod. What must we do to help? The village's supply of nemfruit is grown in a garden to the northeast, next to the Master Ultimate's estate, the witch doctor continues, pointing in the appropriate direction. I need the root of the plant to make more of my concoction, it's very difficult to secure and I am totally out. Northeast, got it, Eswin replies, accepting the instructions from the witch doctor. Beware, as the garden is magically guarded, Nanuit warns, drawing immediate concern from your fellow party heroes. Without a special key, the gate will disintegrate you. There are a few magical stones that are needed to enter the garden, which act like keys, the witch doctor continues, showing you a small piece of glassy obsidian that appears to glow somewhat. I have one, but I dare not show my face around the garden. Wait until cover of darkness, then sneak into the garden and cut one root from the plants that are there. Be sure to leave nothing disturbed. If the Master Ultimate even thinks that his garden has been raided, he will likely murder the entire village. Nanuit now holds the magical stone in his outstretched palm. What do you do? Choose an option, accept the task and take the stone, decline the task and refuse the stone, negotiate a better reward for the task. Your party in agreement, you gently retrieve the small chunk of obsidian from the witch doctor, stowing it away within a convenient pocket. Nanuit then nods in agreement, ending the conversation. GM note, your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details. You're free again to buy and sell potions with Nanuit, but you will need to return a Nemesis Plant root to him to complete the task he's assigned and move this encounter forward. Travel alert, using the road, you travel northeast, taking 15 minutes to arrive, roughly marking the center of Oohlatz. This outdoor location holds the village public well and is thus the primary source of water for most within town, and subsequently an informal meeting area. Indeed, a variety of townspeople are here, talking amongst themselves, scooping water into buckets and tolerating one another's company. A small, roofed, single-floor enclosure stands just to the south of the well. From your current vantage point, you can't really see what's inside. Peering into one of the open windows, you see a few cots lying on the floor, one of them occupied by a townspeople lying down. The remainder of the tiny building is filled with all manner of junk and debris. What is this, some sort of public rest area? Eswin asks, looking about. I smell that nemfruit stuff. Ariana replies, its distinct odor quite distasteful. It's coming from inside. I don't see any ultimates, just a few townspeople, Redfern offers. Let's go look. Stepping into the small enclosure, you find it barely able to fit all of you along with the villager here and all the junk lying about. The stench of the nemfruit is much stronger as well, to the point where you have to cover your nose to lessen its stench. You then spot a small table containing several nemfruit slices, the blackened produce of the Nemesis plant. By now you've learned there is magical power in these fruits, but there is also a poison that robs you of your conscience. Hence, you want nothing to do with the stuff. A younger townswoman here slowly opens her eyes and looks to you, then closes them again as if needing her sleep. Excuse me, you begin, nearly whispering so you don't disturb the villager too much. Can I ask what you're doing? The young woman slowly opens her eyes again and looks to you, responding a moment later. Is this your first wishing? We have plenty of fruit, lie down, try some, and wish away. Really having no idea what she's talking about, let's do a tolerance check on your hero and see what happens. Needing a 17 or less from Janet, a 16 was rolled. Success, it appears the woman is suggesting that you take a piece of the nem fruit, lie down on a cot like she is doing, close your eyes and then perhaps wish for something. Can it really be that easy? Eyeing the fruit and considering the possibilities, the woman lying near you slowly raises her hand to her mouth and chews the last bit of nem fruit she was holding. Almost instantly, a surge of power seems to rush through her, causing her back to arch somewhat before drawing a deep breath and relaxing again. I don't like the looks of this, Redfern mutters, all of you carefully watching the woman. I wish, the woman whispers, holding out the open palm of her hand. I wish for a poisoned dagger, so that I can kill the woman who stole my husband. A moment later, a small, plain dagger appears within her outstretched palm, droplets of poison adhering to the blade's edge. Her eyes still closed, the woman smiles, grabs the dagger by its protective hilt, then lowers her arm again, the magic apparently complete. Redfern steps alongside you, quite concerned by what you've just witnessed. Let's do an intelligence check on him to determine how he responds to you. Needing a 16 or less from Redfern, a 4 was rolled. Success, I thought the nem fruit was only used by magic users, Redfern comments, almost shocked. Apparently here in Chegoria, anyone can make use of its evil power. The young woman's eyes suddenly fly wide open and she sits up almost as if she were under a spell. While neutral toward you and even a little cordial moments ago, she now appears quite determined and almost sneers at you as she rises to her feet, the poisoned dagger firmly in her grip. You're drugged, sister. Cartha calls out, attempting to stop the woman from doing something wicked. It's the nem fruit, let go of your hate for this rival and come to your senses. The woman turns toward Cartha and snarls like a wild animal. Not only has the nem fruit provided the means to commit murder, but it apparently is greatly fueling the will to slay as well. Let's do a spirit check on Cartha and see what happens next. Needing a 14 or less from Cartha, a 17 was rolled. Failure, unable to reach her, the woman snarls again, wildly swings at Cartha with the dagger, then escapes back into the streets of Oohlatz, on her way now to commit murder if she can. You've just seen firsthand what the nem fruit is capable of doing. Absolute power, corrupts absolutely, Eswin comments, watching the woman disappear beyond. Agreed. Cartha replies, angered by the experience. Let's leave this wicked place. Recognizing there is little more you can do here, your party looks for the signal to depart. About to leave, you suddenly have a thought. You are here in Chegoria for a reason, and if you could determine the whereabouts of the one plant, even if it was very risky to do so, that would help your cause immensely. You've just witnessed firsthand how the nem fruit can poison the soul, but given everything you've been through and all the good that you have done, maybe, perhaps, a little of the fruit, just enough to reveal the whereabouts of the one plant, would be an acceptable risk? Janet, you have a fateful choice to make. Choose an option, ignore the nem fruit and leave, pocket some of the nem fruit for later, try the nem fruit and do a wishing? I have an idea, but none of you are going to like it, you announce to your friends, their surprise well warranted. I know this nem fruit is poisonous and very dangerous, but maybe it can tell us the location of the one plant, which is why we're here in Chegoria. What do you think? Are you suggesting that you consume the fruit and wish for the location of the one plant? Redfern asks, almost shocked by the suggestion. Your party hates the idea. Still, let's do a charisma check on your hero and see how this goes. Needing a 12 or less from Janet, a 3 was rolled. Success, we can't destroy the one plant without knowing where it is, Eswin finally says, at least open to the idea. But is the risk worth it? We've all witnessed the honor and sacrifice of Janet since the evil root forest, Sainairs continues, surprisingly open to the idea. I can't see Janet succumbing to evil and darkness even if an entire bush of nem fruit was consumed. Maybe we should try this. No, I should try this, Redfern announces, surprising even you. I am already a magic user, so I can best fight off the effects of the nem fruit. I also trust that each of you will help me should the poison be too much to overcome. Your hero's thinking it over, let's do a party wisdom check and see what it decides. Needing a 13 or less from your heroes, A 10 was rolled. Success. After several more minutes of intense discussion, your party decides that it's best not to try the nemfruit, it's just too dangerous. That's probably the best call, Janet, and your hero soon agrees, instructing the party to then vacate the small construction and be on your way. Back outside of the open construction again, you're free to draw some fresh water from the well here to refill your water skins, if you haven't already done so. You then watch as another young woman you've never seen before steps into the tiny wooden building, apparently about to try her own wishing. Your initial instinct is to force her away, but you need to keep a low profile within the village, so you leave the woman to her fate. Standing aside the town's only source of fresh water, the road leads east to the merchant and west to the public campsite. You can also travel south to the town's only tavern, southwest to the witch doctor, southeast to the town hall, or northwest back to the jeweler's shop. GM note: merchants buy and sell items of up to 100 gold pieces in value. Travel alert: using the road, you travel east, taking 5 minutes to arrive. You arrive at what appears to be the only true merchant in the hamlet, the tiny building itself decrepit and falling apart. Stepping inside, the place is an absolute mess and you suspect the merchant is more a hoarder than a businessman. Worse, the building reeks of nemfruit. The young man here must consume the wicked substance as well. What do you all want? The merchant demands to know, eyeing you crazily like you've come to steal from him. I ain't seen the likes of any of you before, the merchant comments as you complete your initial sale, the young human watching the entire party like a hawk. I catch any of you stealing my stuff and I will have them chop off your hands. We're the last people to steal from you, Kartha attempts to console the shopkeeper. You have nothing to fear from us. I suspect everyone. The merchant barks back. You can't trust no one here. Now that you have the merchant's attention, what would you like to ask him? Choose an option. Are there ultimates here in Oohlatz? Can we buy a Nemesis plant somewhere? Is everyone here as paranoid as you? Of course there are. The young man replies, surprised. You'd know that if you were from around here. There is probably one scrying all of you right now. Do you know anything about the One Nemesis Plant? Redfern quietly inquires. The shopkeeper turns in Redfern's direction and sneers, perturbed by the question. That's not something you talk about? I should report you to the Master Ultimate. And with that, the merchant goes quiet, no longer interested in even talking with you. The merchant impatiently remains standing here, prepared to buy and sell to you but wishing all of you would just leave. Travel alert: using the road, you travel north, taking a few minutes to arrive. Entering this area, you encounter several open carts loosely joined together, all manner of meats, dairy, fruits, and vegetables for sale. This could be a welcome change from our standard rations, Eswin comments, eager to consume some real food. Let's go have a look. Spending about 5 minutes to thoroughly search the carts, you discover that none of the food is worth even a single copper piece. The meats are rotten and maggot infested, the dairy is quite sour and disgusting, and the fruits and vegetables aren't any better. Appalled by the sorry state of the food, you're tempted to give the middle-aged human woman here a piece of your mind. Shush. The woman orders after several of your party condemn the vendor for the terrible state of the food here. You'll drive away my business. Who, in Sisla's name, would want to buy any of this? Sainairs laments, shocked and appalled. Nearly everyone. The woman responds, surprised by the question. You have got to be joking. Eswin complains, rolling his eyes. As if on cue, a young townsman strolls into the marketplace and examines some of the food here. Surprised that he would be interested in any of it, you watch in stunned fascination as the man settles upon several moldy apples, willing to trade a slice of nemfruit for them. The vendor nods, accepts payment and allows the young man to take 5 thoroughly disgusting apples, biting into one of them and almost making you gag. As you stand there in stunned silence, let's do a party intelligence check to see if you can ascertain what is going on. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 5 was rolled. Success, I see, Redfern whispers to you, solving the mystery. He's recently consumed some nemfruit, and in his delusion he sees the moldy apple as something fresh and inviting. The poison of the nemfruit does not just corrupt the soul but weakens the mind as well. I can see that none of you partake of the nemfruit, the middle-aged woman comments, eyeing you with dissatisfaction. You're a tiny minority here, but you can also see what is real, and that's bad for my business. I would greatly appreciate it if you'd move along. You mean you know everything here is rotten, but you sell it anyway? Eswin responds with genuine surprise. I know it, and you know it, the merchant replies in a softer tone. But those who consume the fruit don't know it, and I want to keep it that way. Now recognizing the con the shop owner is playing, how do you wish to respond? Choose an option. Diplomacy, let's work something out. Honor, we will need to report this deceit. Tolerance, it's none of our business. The tolerance score for Janet remains the same. I suppose it's none of our business, you reply, not wanting to escalate the conflict here. The merchant nods, still annoyed with your party but standing down as well. While the female merchant here is willing to sell you her wares, you're not the least bit interested in any of it. It's time to move on. Standing within the farmer's market, you can go north to the Nemesis Garden or the Master Ultimate's home to the northwest. You can go south to the real merchant within Oohlatz. You can go west to the village center, or you can try leaving the village altogether via the main gate to the east. Travel alert, using the road, you travel north, taking 5 minutes to arrive, located just east of a well-built and decorated home, easily the most impressive building within the village, and the main gate leading out of Oohlatz further to the southeast. This large garden is surrounded by a tall stone fence. The road leads to a small wooden gateway that appears to be the only way to enter the garden, currently closed and locked. Peering into the wooden gateway, let's do a curiosity check on your hero to see if you recognize what is growing within the garden. Needing a 15 or less from Janet, a 16 was rolled. Failure, the plants look familiar but at first you're not sure where you've seen them before. Those are Nemesis plants. Ariana whispers, recalling what a single plant had done to her brother Benjamin near the very start of your adventures. Turning to Ariana, you can see the pain and shock and utter heartbreak come flooding back to her, as if her brother's murder at the hands of Darius and Rachel had just happened minutes ago. Ariana bites her lip and turns away, a silent tear running down her face. The rest of your heroes can't help but notice Ariana's sudden change in emotion and naturally inquire. Let's do an empathy check on your hero to see how you handle this. Needing a 14 or less from Janet, a 12 was rolled. Success, briefly explaining to the party what happened to Ariana's brother, you handle the situation with compassion and grace, revealing enough information to inform your friends without distressing Ariana any further. The young elf gently nods to you, finding warmness in your words and remaining at your side. Get away. A young man's voice shouts from behind, surprising all of you. Turning around, you watch a younger human shuffle forward from the vicinity of the farmer's market to the south, his clothes in tatters, his hair unkempt and his eyes wild and bloodshot. He seems angry with you as he staggers forward, warning you to stay away as he fumbles for the garden's gate. I won't let you steal the nem fruit, it's mine. The man warns again, quite defensive as he reaches the gate. Choose an option: charisma, we're not your enemies; intelligence, we don't want trouble; wisdom, can we help you? Completely ignoring your response, the young man grabs hold of the wooden gate and starts to pull, apparently trying to break into the garden beyond. Mumbling something about needing nem fruit to survive, he quickly pulls with all his strength, the man nearly crazy in his obsession to get it. A blinding flash of light suddenly stabs your eyes, the young man disappearing within a cloud of smoke as if just struck by lightning. Moments later, all you see is a small mound of dust lying where the man was just standing. Yikes. Let's do a party intelligence check to see if you can tell what just happened here. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 17 was rolled. Failure, what happened? Ariana gasps, stunned by what you've just witnessed. Not sure, Redfern replies, equally as stunned. I think that was disintegration magic, the gate is magically protected. The poor man must have run out of nem fruit and needed more, Kartha suggests, appalled by what you've just witnessed. Is the fruit that addictive? Easily, Redfern responds, knowing all too well what it can do. I watched my own father succumb to it, to the point where he lost all his reason and control. It is truly evil, wretched stuff. Despite the danger, this must be where the witch doctor wants us to dig up those roots, Eswin reminds the party, turning to you. Janet, do you still have that magical stone he gave you? Feeling in your pocket, the stone still there, you nod affirmatively. However, having just witnessed what happened to the young man here, you're unsure of whether you want to try and open the gate. Trust the stone, Janet, Kartha requests with a reassuring smile. It will be all right. Reaching into a pocket and retrieving the witch doctor's magic stone, you give your party heroes an apprehensive look before stepping to the gate, about to put the stone to the ultimate test. As you reach for the gate, it suddenly unlocks itself and creaks open a few inches, apparently allowing you to enter. You give the gate a gentle push, opening it further and proving that the disintegration magic has been suspended. Eswin nods, then leads your party into the garden beyond. Quickly reaching the Nemesis plants, each of them some 20 feet in height and bearing the brown, withered fruits that provide magical power but steal the consumer's conscience as well, you walk among them as cautiously as you can, remembering that they are semi-sentient creatures and can attack if they sense food nearby. All we need is a single root, Redfern whispers, unsure of how best to retrieve one. But we can't leave any evidence of our being here. What now? Standing there now near the center of the garden, you begin to hear a faint sound, a soft wailing or moaning. Investigating, the sound grows a little louder, as if someone were sobbing nearby. Reaching the center of the garden, the immediate area rather dark from all the Nemesis plants standing here, you're stunned to see what appears to be a translucent elf dressed in regal clothing sitting on a small wooden bench. What is that? Eswin whispers, his instincts warning him to be very careful. Let's do a party intelligence check to see if you can determine anything more here. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 19 was rolled. Failure, sorry, but nobody in the party recognizes the creature here. Sainadius and Kartha do sense that it is undead, however, so be very careful here. The spirit seems so unbearably sad, Ariana whispers, herself in a dark place amongst the Nemesis plants. Let me talk to her. Is that wise? Sainadius asks, surprised. This creature appears undead, it could destroy us? I don't think so. Ariana responds fearlessly before stepping toward the apparition. Be calm, spirit, Ariana suggests as she approaches. Why do you suffer so? My lover, Thuridin, has been slain, in this very spot. The semi-transparent creature responds in between sobs, inconsolable. These plant monsters consumed his very soul. The spirit's wailing grows louder, Kartha warning the party that if her cries reach a crescendo, it could kill all of you here in the garden. Yet Ariana sits down beside the ghostly figure, her own soul bruised by the loss of her brother to the Nemesis plants. Let's do a spirit check on Ariana and see what happens. Needing a 14 or less from Ariana, a 15 was rolled. Failure, the Banshee lets loose with another terrible wail, one that very nearly stilled your beating hearts. Yet the cry wasn't quite fatal, Ariana seems to have seized the ghostly creature's attention to some degree. I, too, lost the most important person in my life to these wretched plant monsters. Ariana acknowledges, fighting back the tears. I know your pain. Still hopelessly sad, the Banshee raises her incorporeal hand and places it directly into Ariana's chest, as if she can feel for Ariana's pain. The living elf then stops her own tears, lifts her chin and replies to the deceased elf. But I will avenge his death. I will help rid the world of these cursed Nemesis plants, and I will avenge the death of your lover as well. The Banshee looks deep into the eyes of Ariana, the ghostly creature perhaps sensing another mortally wounded soul. Yet Ariana's courage can also be sensed by the spirit, the Banshee suddenly confused. Recognizing the opportunity, Kartha steps toward the Banshee to provide her own spiritual support, followed by Redfern and then the rest of your party. The spirit looks to all of you, still greatly confused and bordering on another terrible wail. Janet, we're going to do something we haven't done yet in the game. We're going to do a reputation check on your party and see what influence you may have on the undead soul here. About to let loose with yet another deadly wail, the Banshee instead gives the slightest hint of a smile and then fades away, her spirit apparently put to rest. Well played. You not only saved yourselves but helped a tortured soul find peace as well. Thank you, Ariana, for opening your heart despite all the pain, Kartha says softly, putting her hand on Ariana's shoulder. All of us owe you our lives. Ariana nods and wipes away another tear, the encounter incredibly painful but also quite moving. You've made some difficult yet honorable choices in the story so far, leading to a higher party reputation score. Let's further reward that with some bonus experience. Each hero earns 500 experience points. Moments of stunned silence pass, the encounter with the Banshee unforgettable. Eswin then reaches for a smaller knife and bends down to one knee, beginning to dig into the hardened soil here. Enough of this place, let's get what we came for and get out of here. Digging just a few inches down, the warrior quickly reaches one of the roots here, extracting a sliver several inches long before reburying the tiny hole as to leave no trace of your being here. Eswin wraps the root within a spare bandage and then hands it to you, your mission here accomplished. Perhaps aware that it has basically just been attacked, the Nemesis plant here starts to move on its own accord, warning you that it's time to flee. Eswin leads the way, and quickly you depart the haunted garden, glad to be free of all the wicked vegetation as well. Perhaps we should set fire to the entire garden. Ariana half suggests, hateful of all the plants. That would get us caught, and worse, Redfern replies, his analysis accurate. But someday, perhaps. GM note, it's dark here. Click the Use Item button to select a source of light. Having returned to the street here going from northeast to southwest, you can go west to the Immaculate Building just a few dozen yards away, due south to the Farmer's Market or southeast to the village main gate. As for the garden itself, you will want to leave it alone now and never step foot within it again. Travel alert, using the road, you travel west, taking a few minutes to arrive. Your party approaches what is certainly the nicest and best kept home in the village, a residence clearly owned by someone with wealth, power, and prestige. Standing at the base of the stairway leading up to the dwelling's front door are two men dressed in brown robes. If you didn't know better, the two men appear to be twin brothers, each eyeing you suspiciously as you approach. As you near to within 10 feet, the pair quickly look away as if not wanting to speak to you or even acknowledge your presence here whatsoever. How do you handle this initial encounter with the brown-cloaked men? Choose an option. Curiosity, can you tell us who lives here? Diplomacy, might you answer some questions? Spirit, can we help you in some way? The fact that you have questions, one of the men disrespectfully responds. Tells us that you don't belong here in Oohlatz, the second man continues, finishing the first man's sentence. We are new to the village, Kartha carefully responds, all of you sensing that these two strangers may be difficult to deal with. This is certainly a very nice home, we're just curious who lives here. The better question is, the first man replies, now eyeing your party even more suspiciously. Who are all of you? The second man adds, again completing the first man's sentence. Well, this is annoying. How do you respond this time? Choose an option. Honor, we're here for a good reason. Optimism, we've come to help Chegoria. Reason, our reasons here are our own. We're here for a good reason, Redfern replies, his voice guarded. If you're not going to answer our questions, then just say so and we will be on our way. Regardless of why you're here, the first man responds. You have no business with the Master Ultimate, the second man says, again completing the first man's sentence. Now go. Both men command together. You sense your party growing more irritable. How do you respond to the annoying men this time? Choose an option. Charisma, continue asking your questions. Intelligence, attempt to outsmart the men. Wisdom, take the hint and leave the area. Wanting to know more, your party attempts to ask a few more questions, using all the charisma you can muster. Each time, however, the two men defy you, the second man continuing to finish the sentence of the first man. After a few more arguments, the front door of the well-maintained house slowly opens. Standing there is another tall person, this one wearing a black cloak and appearing rather agitated. Now that this third person has revealed himself, let's do a party curiosity check to see if you notice anything odd or unusual about him. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 2 was rolled. Success, those yellow triangles sewn around the cuffs of the black cloak, Redfern observes, whispering into your ear. He's an actual ultimate and is likely very powerful, we dare not cross him. What are you hooligans doing here? The man in black shouts, surprisingly outraged. Don't you know who I am? Stop annoying my assassin guards, or I will have them chop you up into tiny pieces. Taking an offensive stance, both men in brown withdraw perfect, razor-sharp short swords that glow with a dull orange light, certainly magical. You sense that the situation is quickly growing out of control. What do you do? Choose an option. Charisma, try to make a better impression. Intelligence, match wits with the ultimate. Wisdom, show forgiveness and back down. Hoping to perhaps reset your encounter here, you soften your approach and speak kindly to the men, using all your natural charisma to improve the conversation. Unfortunately, the effort seems to only make the men angrier. The ultimate standing in the doorway sneers one last time, then seemingly retreats into his home. A moment later, more men dressed in the same brown robes step out of the doorway and in your direction, glowing short swords out and at the ready. The dozen or so assassins step just behind the original two men as the ultimate himself reappears in the doorway, still quite upset. All of you have incurred my wrath. Leave now or be butchered like pigs right here in the street. Janet, this isn't our fight, let's retreat, Kartha whispers into your ear, Eswin and Ariana agreeing with the mutant. That's the best decision, Redfern adds, keeping his eyes on the man in black robes. The ultimate there is likely the most powerful sorcerer we've faced, and there is little to achieve here. Besides, we should be keeping a low profile here in Oohlatz, Sainadius adds as a reminder. Your party in agreement, all of you back away from the potential conflict here, soon several dozen feet away and, hopefully, out of any danger. The dozen or so men in brown robes and the ultimate himself remain standing defiantly where you first found them. They're not going anywhere. Not the most welcoming people here, are they? Ariana comments, annoyed by the encounter. It's best we leave for now, Redfern responds, more concerned than annoyed. Time to vacate the area here. The road leads west to the jeweler and the docks, southeast to the farmer's market and merchant, and east to a large, walled garden. Travel alert, returning to the witch doctor, you take 20 minutes to arrive. You're free again to buy and sell potions with Nanuit, but you will need to return a Nemesis Plant root to him to complete the task he's assigned and move this encounter forward. Janet offers uses the Nemesis Plant root and loses it from her inventory. Finding Nanuit again, you offer him the Nemesis Plant root you dug up within the Nemesis garden. The witch doctor nods and takes the root as if you had delivered to him a newborn child. Well done, the primitive alchemist exclaims as he steps over to his workbench. I have my anti-scrying potion all ready to go, I just need to grind up this root and add it to my concoction. Eswin steps over to a nearby window to ensure that your party wasn't followed. Your hero's now waiting for the witch doctor to prepare the root and complete his potion. 10 minutes later, Nanuit returns to your party carrying a single potion flask. It appears his work is done. Now, are you sure you didn't leave any trace of your theft within the garden? The witch doctor asks, his expression most serious. As sure as we can be, Ariana replies with a soft smile. Nanuit nods, then hands you the potion he has just made. Its contents a muddy brown. Good. Erase my concoction, just as I promised. Drink this, and you and your friends should be temporarily shielded from the scrying magic of the ultimates. For how long? Sainairs asks, a good question. You'll have about 20 days or so of protection. Make it count. Holding the potion, it's up to you what to do next. Choose an option, drink the potion without delay, refuse the potion. You acknowledge the witch doctor, then quaff the contents of the potion, the viscous fluid rather hard to swallow. Moments later the potion is gone, though you don't feel any effects from the magic whatsoever. It is done, Nanuit says with a deep sigh. Now, find a way out of this village and do your best against the ultimates. If you're unable to do anything within the next 20 days or so, then flee Chegoria and never return. It will never be safe for you again. You and your party heroes acknowledge the advice from Nanuit, the encounter now at an end. GM note, your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details. Nanuit now stands some 10 feet away behind a counter, waiting for you to buy and sell potions. Otherwise, feel free to take the path northwest to the public campground, the road north back into the village or east to the village tavern. Travel alert, using the road, you travel east, taking 5 minutes to arrive. You enter the only tavern of the village, its atmosphere dark and smoky and the revolting scent of nemfruit contaminating the air. A variety of patrons stand about, most of whom look depressed as they're occasionally served by an older human waitress. While the food is bland and unappetizing, for a gold piece you can fill your bellies and perhaps hear a rumor or two. GM note, Janet lost 1 gold piece. The older waitress collects your payment, shows you to a larger table within the tavern and soon brings food and drink. You then spend the next hour or so eating what you can and generally relaxing. Having had your fill, you can now listen attentively for rumors amidst the din of dozens of soft conversations around you. Just click the Listen for Rumors option button to spend the next hour hoping to hear something of value. An hour passes, during which you hear something intriguing. The Master Ultimate has closed the Nemesis Garden, so there won't be any nemfruit to consume for a little while. However, there is still some fruit left at the village center, the perfect place to relax, consume, and wish away. An hour passes, during which you hear something intriguing. A ship was seen sailing into the bay northwest of Oohlatz the other night, drawing the ire of the kraken that guards and protects the west-central shore of Chegoria. Nobody knows what happened to the ship, but it's assumed it was lost with all hands on board. An hour passes, during which you hear something intriguing. An hour passes, during which you hear something intriguing. Recently, a band of older women suffering from leprosy made camp within the public campsite to the west of Oohlatz, spreading their disease and infecting several townspeople. The campsite is likely still contaminated and should be avoided at all costs. Travel alert: using the road, you travel east, taking 5 minutes to arrive, likely some sort of public or local government building. You watch as a few townsfolk come and go, serious expressions on their face. Just inside the main entrance is a large bulletin board fastened to the wall, a variety of paper-based postings pinned upon the board. If you're at all curious about what's going on here in Oohlatz, a quick glance of the bulletin board may be helpful. The dozen or so postings here have all been written by different people, it seems, each focusing on some sort of personal announcement meant for the entire village to review and accept. One posting deals with a man seizing the remains of an abandoned home on the south side, another announces the coming of a new business, while a third warns all to stay away from a new vein of silver recently found nearby. Reviewing the postings, let's do a party curiosity check to see what more you may discover. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 2 was rolled. Success: there seems to be little government oversight here, Redfern posits, seeing a pattern in all of the announcements. It's as if everyone is free to do whatever they wish, regardless of how it affects others. Suddenly, the clear sound of a dog barking echoes from further within the building, something quite unexpected. Your heroes look to you, then Ariana steps away to learn more, quickly followed by the rest of your party. The town hall mostly empty, you spy activity in the southeast corner where a young man appears to be in some sort of altercation with several older men and women, the local town officials you presume. One of the officials is holding the leash to a large dog, the obvious source of the barking. "I said I want the dog back," the young man exclaims, making a fuss. "He's mine to do as I please." "Wait your turn." Another of the officials calls to your party before turning back to the angry young man. Let's do a quick empathy check on your hero to help gauge your initial reaction here. Needing a 14 or less from Janet, a 11 was rolled. Success: you sense that the young man has somehow lost the dog and wants it back, but the hamlet officials here are apparently unwilling to turn the animal over. Both sides seem unusually angry, and you wonder what circumstances have caused the altercation. "Yes, you have the right to do anything you wish," one of the female officials responds, taking a step toward the young man. "And we have the right to not have our food stolen from us in the middle of the night by this blinking dog?" The young man sneers, the woman apparently onto something. "I don't know what you're talking about." "A blinking dog?" Ariana whispers, surprised. Does she mean a blink dog? Let's do an intelligence check on your hero to see what you may know about blink dogs. Needing a 13 or less from Janet, a 15 was rolled. Failure: shaking your head no, Ariana quickly informs you, indicating that these animals have the ability to teleport short distances. "We think you've been forcing your hound to blink into people's homes, steal what it can and return to you." Another of the officials condemns, an apparent warrior. "You know what we do to thieves." The official draws his blade and guides it across his open hand, indicating that thieves here in town pay for their ways by having their hands chopped off. The young man just sneers, however, not intimidated. "You can't prove anything." Now, give me my damn dog. Full of rage, the young man approaches the dog, his hand out to pull the animal away from the town officials. In turn, the dog backs away and growls. It apparently does not want anything to do with him. Still not intimidated, the young man then reaches directly for the dog, intent on pulling it with him. The dog instead attempts to bite the young man, causing him to retreat a step or two. "Ha!" The soldier official shouts with a grin. "It does not even like you." The young man tries again, and again the dog nearly bites him. Equally angry and embarrassed now, the young man withdraws his short sword, arming himself and about to do something quite cruel. "I see you've tricked it into making me its enemy. If I can't have the dog, then nobody can." The young man is about to slay the animal. "If you want to act, the time is now. Choose an option: diplomacy, offer to buy the dog; honor, protect the dog; tolerance, allow events to unfold." Acting quickly, Eswin draws his own blade and steps in the direction of the young man, followed quickly by the rest of your party. The brute again considers slaying the blink dog, then instead turns and runs out the door, gone moments later. Smart enough to sense what has just happened, the blink dog trots to your party and sits, recognizing its sudden good fortune. It appears your party has just inherited a young blink dog. "Someone should teach that young man some manners," Kartha scolds, unhappy with the dog's former owner. "I wish someone would," one of the officials there responds, still annoyed with the young man as well. "He's been a troublemaker all his life." GM note: now that you own a blink dog, click the Use Item button during combat to select the animal and have it join your party in battle. "None of you look familiar," another official states, eyeing you suspiciously. "How long have you been in Oohlatz?" "Uh-oh. The last thing you want to be talking about with the natives here is who you are and what you're doing in Chegoria. You'll need to lie about something. How do you respond? Choose an option: charisma, offer a free drink at the tavern; intelligence, ask about the mayor of Oohlatz; wisdom, offer gold to stay here in town." Offering the town officials here a free drink at the local tavern, they look to one another with some surprise, as if the concept of buying some alcohol for another is a foreign idea. Hence, let's do a party charisma check and see how this plays out. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 6 was rolled. Success: "Not that I wouldn't mind a drop or two of ale," one of the men here says with a straight face, "but why would you buy anything for me? We're total strangers. Are you even from somewhere here in Chegoria?" Overhearing the conversation, the armed man at his desk behind you rises to his feet and looks to you, his suspicion aroused as well. Concerned, Eswin whispers in your ear, tugging you away from the three humans standing here. "I think it's time we leave." Agreeing with the dark-skinned fighter, you turn and head for the door, the air thick with apprehension and the village elders here highly suspicious of you now. There they are. A voice suddenly calls out. Standing there are several dozen villagers, all of them wielding some sort of weapon and eyeing you like their worst enemy. Leading the small mob is most likely an ultimate, the black-robed magic user made powerful by the corruption of the Nemfrud. The town hall officials here join the villagers and ready their weapons as the ultimate points his stained right finger at you, making a damning accusation. Word is, you've been asking all the wrong questions. You must be spies, time for you to die. Run. Eswin cries, pointing northwest. Initially escaping the large crowd of angry villagers, you soon find yourselves in the far northwestern corner of the village, just south of the docks and north of the public campsite. With the stone wall surrounding Oohlatz before you, there is no further you can run. It's time to turn and make a last valiant stand here. This does not look good, Redfern acknowledges as you look around frantically, the mob about to arrive. Any advice? Don't die. Eswin responds, digging in and readying his weapon for the onslaught. Wait, we can explain. Sainadius tries as the villagers arrive, led by the Master Ultimate and his brown-cloaked assassins. Save your breath. The Ultimate returns, directing his forces to attack you quickly and efficiently. We have but one response for outsiders, death. And with that, the Ultimate motions for everyone here to attack your party, several dozen opponents altogether. Janet, the battle looks hopeless, but you have absolutely no choice but to fight. Your party is under attack. Coming at all of you are 27 Chegorian thugs, 10 Chegorian assassins, 3 Chegorian clerics and 1 Master Ultimate. It's Murieleth's turn. What do you want her to do? Needing a 35 or less on percentile dice, a 33 is rolled. Success. Murieleth blends into the shadows, hiding from all combatants and receiving a +4 to hit and potentially doing triple damage upon her next attack. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Chegorian thug number 12, needing a 14 to hit. Needing a 45 or less on percentile dice, a 34 is rolled. Eswin uses a Boots of Speed on himself, allowing himself to act twice each round. Chegorian Assassin number 8 attacks Ariana with it. Chegorian Thug number 14 attacks. Chegorian Thug number 22 attacks Eswin with his longsword, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 3, +3 to hit. It's Senires's turn. What do you want him to do? Sainadius casts Spiritual Hammer on Chegorian Thug number 12, bashing him for 5 points of damage for 5 minutes. Chegorian Thug number 12 has been defeated. Chegorian Assassin. Chegorian Cleric casts Hold Person on Janet, holding her and causing her to become immobilized in place for an hour, needing a 12 or greater. Janet rolls a 4 and fails versus. Chegorian Thug number 2 attacks Sainadius with his longsword, needing a 19 to hit. Chegorian Thug number 4 attacks Kartha with his longsword, needing a 18 to hit. Die roll. Chegorian Thug number 5 attacks Kartha with his longsword, needing a 18 to hit. Die. Chegorian Thug number 6 attacks Redfern with his longsword, needing a 10 to hit. Chegorian Thug number 7 attacks Redfern with his longsword, needing a 10 to hit. Chegorian Thug number 11 attacks Kartha with his longsword, needing a 8. Chegorian Thug number 23 attacks Eswin with his longsword, needing a 12. Master Ultimate casts Haste on Chegorian Thug, allowing him to act twice each round for 10 minutes. It's Kartha's turn. What do you want her to do? Kartha casts Spiritual Hammer on Chegorian Thug number 15, bashing him for 5 points of damage for 5 minutes. Chegorian Cleric casts Hold Person on Ariana, holding her and causing her to become immobilized in place for an hour, needing a 10 or greater. Ariana rolls a 7 and fails versus spells. Chegorian Thug number 20 attacks Eswin with his longsword, needing a Chegorian Thug number 21 attacks Sainadius with his longsword. Chegorian Thug number 27 attacks Kartha with his longsword, needing a 18 to hit. Die roll is a. It's Redfern's turn. What do you want him to do? Redfern casts Fireball on roughly half of all encountered combatants, blasting them in an explosion of flame. Chegorian Assassin number 1 is burned for 14 points of damage, needing a 13 or greater. Chegorian Assassin number 5 attacks Sainadius with his short sword, needing a 9. Chegorian Cleric casts Hold Person on Kartha, holding her and causing her to become immobilized in place for an hour, needing a 13 or greater. Chegorian Thug number 25 attacks Sainadius with his longsword, needing a 9. Chegorian Assassin number 1 attacks Eswin with his short sword. Chegorian Assassin number 3 attacks Redfern with his short sword, needing a. Chegorian Assassin number 4 attacks Eswin with his short sword. Chegorian Thug number 16 attacks Eswin with his longsword, needing a 20. Chegorian Thug number 17 attacks Eswin with his longsword, needing a. Chegorian Assassin number 7 attacks Eswin with his short sword, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 19, +4 to hit. Chegorian assassin number 7 hits Eswin, partially mildly poisoning him for 1 point of damage. Chegorian thug number 1 attacks Sainadius with his longsword needing a Chegorian thug number 8 attacks Sainadius with it. Chegorian thug number 13 attacks Redfern with his longsword needing. Chegorian thug number 19 attacks Sainadius with his longsword. Chegorian thug number 26 attacks Sainadius. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting first. It's Eswin's turn. What do you want? Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Chegorian assassin number 1. Marioleth casts web on roughly half of all encountered combatants, attempting to immobilize them in sticky goo. Chegorian assassin number 1 is not held, needing a 13 or greater. Chegorian assassin number 1 rolls a 15 and saves versus spells. Chegorian assassin number 2 avoids the attack altogether. Chegorian assassin number 3 is not held, needing a 13 or greater. Chegorian assassin number 3 rolls a 15 and 6. Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at Chegorian cleric number 1, bashing him for. Chegorian assassin number 8 attacks Redfern with his short sword needing a 10 to hit. Die roll. It's Nyers' spiritual hammer's turn. What do you want it to do? Sainadius directs his spiritual hammer at Chegorian cleric number 1, bashing him for 1 point of damage and leaving him. Chegorian assassin number 3 attacks Sainadius with his short sword. Chegorian thug number 2 attacks Sainadius. Chegorian thug number 4 fails a morale check, flees the encounter area and is off. It's Nyers' turn. What do you want him to do? Sainadius casts cause moderate wounds on Chegorian cleric number 1, nearly wounding him, needing a 14 or greater. Chegorian cleric number 1 rolls a 14 and Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Chegorian thug number 17. Chegorian cleric casts hold person on Eswin, holding him and causing him to become immobilized in place for an hour, needing a 11 or greater. Chegorian thug number 8 attacks Sainadius with his longsword. Chegorian thug number 16 attacks Sainadius with his longsword needing a 19 to hit. Die roll is a 20. Chegorian thug number 22 attacks Sainadius with his long. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Chegorian cleric number 1, needing a 14 to hit. Chegorian assassin number 4 attacks Barthal with his short sword need. Chegorian thug number 6 attacks Barthal with his longsword needing. Chegorian thug number 17 attacks Sainadius with his longsword. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with high. Chegorian thug number 8 attacks Sainadius with it. Chegorian thug number 22 attacks Sainadius. It's Nyers' turn. What do you want him to do? Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Chegorian thug number 17, needing a. Sainadius directs his spiritual hammer at Chegorian assassin number 1. Chegorian thug number 21 attacks. Chegorian thug number 25 attacks. It's Marioleth's turn. What do Marioleth casts Phantasmal Force on Chegorian cleric number 1, nearly horrifying him, needing a 14 or greater. Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at Chegorian cleric number 1. Chegorian assassin number 6 fails a morale check. Chegorian thug number 6 attacks Barthal with his. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Chegorian. Chegorian cleric casts protection from good on himself, protecting him from goodly. Chegorian cleric casts protection from good on himself. Chegorian thug number 2 attacks Sainadius with. Chegorian thug number 16 fails a morale check, flees the. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Marioleth casts magic missile on Chegorian cleric number 1, striking him with a magic. Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Chegorian thug number 6, needing a 14 to hit. Die roll is a 11, +5 to hit. Saneas readies his mace +1 and swings at Chegorian thug number 21, needing a 14 to hit. Die roll is a 20, which is an. Saneas directs his spiritual hammer at Chegorian cleric number 1. Chegorian thug number 8 attacks Saneas with his longsword, needing a 9. Chegorian thug number 25 attacks Saneas with his longsword, needing a 19 to hit. It's Kartha's spiritual hammer's turn. What do you want it to do? Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at Chegorian thug. Chegorian assassin number 4 attacks Barthol. Chegorian thug number 22 attacks Saneas with his longsword, needing a 19 to hit. Die roll. Chegorian assassin number 8 attacks Barthol with his short sword, needing a 14 to hit. Die roll is a 10. Chegorian assassin number 3 fails a morale check, flees the encounter. Chegorian cleric casts Cause Fear on Marialeth, frightening her and causing her to cower in terror for 20 minutes, needing a 10 or greater. Marialeth rolls a 1 and fails versus spells. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values act. Saneas directs his spiritual hammer at Master Ultimate, bashing him for 4 points of damage and defeating him. It's Kartha's spiritual hammer's turn. What do you want it to do? Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at Chegorian assassin number 5, bashing him for 3 points of damage and leaving. Chegorian thug number 25 attacks Saneas with his longsword, needing a 19 to hit. Die roll is a 20, which is an automatic hit and does double damage. Chegorian thug number 12. Well, that didn't go well. Your adventuring party has been defeated. Despite your best effort, the villagers overwhelm the party and seize each of you, restraining you and sealing your doom. Moments later, you watch in astonishment as suddenly all the villagers here start to look around in confusion, some of them even babbling to themselves, including the Master Ultimate and his clerics. Another ultimate then appears, dressed in the familiar brown robes and appearing sinister as well. He quickly approaches your party but apparently has come to talk, not to fight. You don't stand a chance here. The ultimate commands, seemingly trying to help. I have no idea who you are or why you're here, but it won't take long now for the prying eyes of the Chegorian ultimates to find and destroy all of you. Quickly, follow me. And you are? Eswin asks, not about to follow a complete stranger anywhere. I am, a friend, the only ally you have here in Oohlatz. The ultimate replies, apparently in a rush. We need to go now. The brown-robed stranger turns and conjures a quick spell. Moments later, a magical gateway appears just a few feet away, its exterior shimmering brightly but its interior hidden in shadow. The ultimate then turns back to you, demanding that you follow him into the doorway. Let's do a party intelligence check to see what you may discover here. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 17 was rolled. Failure. While you assume that the magic is some sort of teleportation spell, you really have no idea what it is, exactly, or where it may take you. Why should we trust you? Eswin asks, still unwilling to move through the portal. My confusion spell won't last all day, the ultimate replies, growing impatient. If you're too foolish to realize that I am trying to rescue you, then stay here and die. What's it going to be? And with that, the ultimate steps toward the magical doorway, about to depart. You've only got a few more moments to make up your mind. Choose an option, follow him through the portal, remain here and accept your fate. Passing through the dimension door, your eyes are bathed in color for just an instant, the magical journey leaving you a bit queasy but otherwise unharmed. You arrive in front of somebody's home, tucked into a small hill. You can still hear the ocean surf and the crying of seagulls from beyond, so you're not far from Oohlatz, likely to the south. After doing a quick head count to ensure your entire party is still with you, you turn toward the ultimate who brought you here, needing some answers. Follow me, the brown-cloaked magic user orders, leading your party to the building's front door. The ultimate looks around first to make sure nobody is spying on you, then uses a pinch of magic to unlock the front door, the gate opening just a crack as if bidding you welcome. Your heroes question whether they should proceed and you nod affirmatively, the ultimate leading you into the sheltered building beyond.